Okay, guys, so let's move to question 2.2, and we're given a statement. So the statement reads as follows: the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence are 2k minus 7, k plus 8, and 2k minus 1. So the question 2.2.1 says calculate the value of the 15th term of the sequence, and this question is allocated 5 marks. So my advice to you guys is that not because the question is allocated 2 marks then it means it's complicated, and again because the sequence itself, it may look a bit complicated, but you just need to know the basics of sequences. And again, on this question, they indicated that this is an arithmetic sequence. So we just need to apply the basics that we know about arithmetic sequence. So that means we no longer have to stress about trying to find out what type of a sequence is this. So obviously, our first step in approaching this question would be to find the first difference of the sequence. From there, as soon as we find the first difference of the sequence, that's when we can easily generate the general equation of this arithmetic sequence. From there, that's when we can move to the question. Actually, if we can be able to find the nth term, then we can be able to tackle any question related to this arithmetic sequence. So in most cases, when we're given an arithmetic sequence, worry about firstly knowing the type of the sequence, and second step, think of the basics and apply all the basics that you know about that particular sequence. Then that's when you can then start to worry about the questions. So in short, we already know this is arithmetic sequence. We've got 2k minus 7, and remember, most importantly, a term is separated by this whatever that you call it. So this is what separates, it's a semicolon. This is what separates a term in a sequence. So that means the whole of this is term 1. This is term 2, and this is term 3. So we have all the information to proceed, because we know when it comes to arithmetic sequence, we can make use of this sequence to find the first difference. And this is the general formula for an arithmetic sequence. So if you subtract term 2, if you say term 2 minus term 1, it gives you the first difference of the sequence, which is what you need. And remember, guys, the first difference of an arithmetic sequence, it's a constant number, which means the difference of these two terms, it should be equal to the difference of these two terms. So what I'm quickly going to do is to equate these two terms, because I know that the difference of this term and that term, it's equals to the difference of this term and that term. These are the basics that I was referring to with regards to arithmetic sequence. So I'm just quickly going to equate them with the aim of calculating the actual value of k. As soon as I get the value of k, I can then substitute it there and find the actual numbers of these terms. In that way, that's when I'll be able to easily tackle any question related to this sequence, because I already know the actual numbers of these terms. So I'm not yet worrying about the question itself. I just need to apply the basics and convert these terms into numbers. Okay guys, so that's how I solved the value of k. So I'll just quickly explain what I did. So the whole of this is that term, and the whole of this is that term. So what I did was just calculate the value of k. So obviously the first step is to remove the bracket. So there's 1 there times k times 8, it's equals to this, and there's a minus 1 there times this, that times that, it's positive 7. And then you do the same on this side. You've got 1 times that minus 1 times that equals to this. Then what I did, it was to simplify this side. K minus 2k minus k, this plus that, it's equals to 15, it's equals to 2k minus k, it's equals to 1k, minus 1 minus 8, it's equals to minus 19. Then I move k to the right, it becomes 2k with this one, and then I move this one to the left, it adds up to 24. Then I divide by 2 so that it cancels out. I'm remaining with k. 24 divided by 2, it's equals to 12. So remember guys, I shouldn't be teaching you about how to solve an unknown variable. This is obviously something that you learned in the previous lessons. So in this case, it's just a matter of explaining to you how to arrive at a final answer. And again, you might find that the whole of this step, it's not even allocated a mark. You might find that maybe you're given a mark just to calculate a k. But in the end of this lesson, I will show you the process in which they go about to mark these kind of questions. So now that we got the value of k, which is 12, how about we substitute it there, and see what are the actual values of this sequence. So I'm just quickly going to substitute. Let's see, we've got 2 into 12 minus 7. The second term, it will be 12 plus 8. And we've got the last term, which is 2 into 12 minus 1. So let's see. This is 24. We've got 2 times 12, it's equals to 24 minus 7, it's equals to 17. So that means we've got 17 as the first term. We've got 12 plus 8, which is 20, as the second term. And then we've got 2 times 12, which is 24 minus 1, it's 23. So that means we've got our first term as 17, second 20, and the last term as 23. So let's first check if we're going to find a common difference. So 20 minus 17, it's equals to 3. 23 minus 20 is equals to 3. So that means our difference for this arithmetic sequence is 3. So now let's move to writing the general equation of that sequence. We obviously, I assume at this stage you know this is your difference and this is your first term, and this refers to the number in the sequence, and this is your nth term. So obviously our Tn, it's equals to our first term, calculated it to be 17, plus into n minus 1, our D, it should be in bracket, which is 3. Then what we do is to simplify. Obviously our first starting point is where we've got our brackets. So remember guys, this is n multiplied by 3, which is 3n, and we've got minus 1 times 3, it's minus 3. 17 minus 3, it's equals to 14. So that means, in short, our Tn, it's 3n plus 14. This is the general equation of this or that arithmetic sequence. So since I'm done with this general formula, that means I can tackle any question related to this sequence. So now let's then focus on question 2.2.1. Okay, so I'll just read the question again. So the question says, calculate the value of the 15th term of the sequence. So obviously, because they said the 15th term, that means this is what they want you to calculate, the 15th term. So as you can see, in place of n, they've put in 15. So that means on this side of the equation, that's when you substitute with your 15 to get the 15th term of the sequence. So in answering the question, it's T15, which is equals to 3 into 15 plus 14. So the value that you get, it's exactly what they want you to calculate. So we've got 3 into 15 plus 14, it's equals to 59. So that's how you solve question 2.2.1. So in short, it means if you were to continue with this sequence by adding 3, adding 3, adding 3, when you get to the 15th term, the value on the 15th term is 59. So that's basically what it means when we say the 15th term of this sequence with a common difference of 3 is equals to 59. So we make use of this formula to avoid having to go through that process where we add up until the 15th term, because in some instances they may still request maybe the 159th term. So imagine having to add by 3 till you get to that term. It would take you a very long time. So we make use of this equation to just quickly get to that term and find the value of that term. So that's how you score your 5 marks for this question. Obviously, the most important thing is to equate the first difference. So this is where you score your first mark. By just equating these two, it indicates that you know that term 2 minus term 1, it's equals to term 3 minus term 2. So that's why you score a mark there. Then all of this, it's an obvious stuff. You would get marks for these calculations maybe in grade 10, but in grade 12 we only focus on the final answer. So that's where you score your second mark. Then from there, obviously it's assumed that you know exactly what you're doing. So you will take that 12, substitute into the sequence and get the actual value. So you got 17, you got 20, you got 23. So the third mark, you get it from identifying your A. So this 17, remember, you substituted it from this formula, which is your A. And then now you get your fourth mark, where you substitute your D, which is your common difference, is 3. So that's where you score your fourth mark. then obviously from all of this you don't score a mark. You score a mark for giving the final answer. So that's, I think it's not like this question was difficult. It was just a bit longer, but obviously because I took long as I was explaining and doing some calculations to get to the final answer. So in an exam, it shouldn't be taking you longer than we took on this question. It should be a lot more quicker.